Welcome to the PMX Conversations, where we explore precious metals, global markets, and the decisions that shape long-term wealth preservation. I'm Toronto Mike, and this podcast is brought to you by Canadian PMX. We're joined by Maria, Senior Buyer Trader with Canadian PMX. In this episode, we'll be discussing the process of selling, from sorting a collection to the experience of how Canadian PMX would buy from you. Hi, Maria, and welcome to the PMX Conversations.
Thank you for having me.
Many people, Maria, have gold, jewelry, coins, or heirlooms at home and don't know where to start or who to trust. Can you please walk us through what is the process for someone sorting through collections, estates, and old jewelry right now?
Well, we get a lot of phone calls with people calling in saying that, somebody sadly passed away and, they left them some stuff and they have no idea what to do with it. So that's how it goes. And of course, we try to walk them through it as peacefully as we can. Typically, it's usually, in our case, it's coins, jewelry, plates,
is this like Aunt Edna's collection?
Yes,
and then
yes.
Sadly, Aunt Edna passes on.
Yes.
Great Aunt Edna. And suddenly you're responsible for this collection, these plates as you describe.
Yes. Yeah. You know what? You never know what somebody's going to pull out of their bag when they come through the door, to be perfectly honest. Like if we've seen teeth, that's normal.
Wow.
Teeth, gold teeth. That's just an everyday thing in here. So, but obviously people come in and, you want to be sympathetic because, first of all, to them, they think it's priceless. It may not be.
Well, it was great Aunt Edna's.
It is. Yeah, exactly.
And there is a tendency that when great Aunt Edna has some collection of plates where you just assume it's like from Henry VIII or something.
That's right. No, that is very true. And you know what? It's really sad to have to, be honest with people and say, look, sorry, but it's something that I see every single day in here. It's not that rare, But, occasionally we do get stuff that even we are like, oh, but how do you price this? Because it's not something that we see every day. And that's kind of what makes this job exciting.
I can imagine, one show I think about as you're describing this is the Antique Roadshow.
Yes.
You ever seen this?
Yes.
Right? So it's like, you never know what they're going to pull out. You said you don't know what they're going to pull out of their bag. I'd say get a camera on this. We have a reality show here.
We do. We really do. And it's true. But yeah, primarily it's jewelry. Primarily it's coins. Primarily it's gold, silver, bullion, banknotes. Things like that. Yeah. So
you never know what people are collecting, right? So do you have any advice for somebody? Like, how would they go about sorting these items at home?
Yeah. So when it comes to coins, usually, they literally have a bag full. It's mixed with everything, pennies, dimes, nickels, and there's bags full of it. What do you do? Well, we say, look, it's easiest always to just sort like with like and call it a day if you don't want to go too crazy with it, because you can do the job for us and we'd be grateful. But that's what we're here for. So if you don't have time to sort, just keep your dimes with your dimes, keep your quarters with your quarters, call it a day. But if you want to go crazy, pull out a magnet, start sorting through with it. If it sticks, then it's most likely not worth much, and it's most likely. Well, I was going to ask you,
how does a common, a lay person differentiate between costume jewelry and that Henry VIII pendant we talked about?
Yep, get your magnet out right away. If it sticks, it's costume most likely. So.
Oh, that's a pro tip right there. I didn't know. Yep. So get yourself a good magnet. Okay,
that's
what about
the first thing we do?
Okay, so you're sorting it by what it is, and then what do you? So with coins, do you go to that next level? So I don't know, by decade or something. I don't know.
Well, it's usually, if it's Canadian coins, which is what we see the most in here, we say anything that's 1968 is kind of your cutoff year. So 1968, it could be silver, could be not silver at that point, because that's when they started to. Well, they phased it out completely, the use of silver in the coins.
Okay, so if I have a 1969 coin, just take it to the bank.
Pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. It's just face value.
Okay, that's fascinating here. That's fascinating. Now, can you explain, you're the subject matter expert here, what is the difference between an appraisal and an evaluation?
Yeah, for sure. So most people need an appraisal done because they need like a formally written document, whether that's for tax purposes, your settlement of the estate, basically, which we do provide usually for a charge, because then that means we'd have to go do the whole evaluation process with you as we would, but then we also have to document everything based on, the different categories that you have and the market value at the time.
Right.
And what we would offer for it based on its wholesale value, so to speak. And then afterwards, you can come back, you can sell if you want to, but that appraisal is only really good as a document. If you want to sell, you'd have to go through that whole process again. So basically the evaluation is the process of doing it. The appraisal itself is like the document that you get if you need it formally done.
So it's like a legal document.
Precisely.
So like an evaluation is an evaluation, but when you get an appraisal, now you have some piece of paper, be it for, I don't know if it's for the lawyer or whatever, settling the estate or whatnot.
That's right. That's usually what most people need from us. And of course, like for example, we charge $100 an hour because the collections could be huge boxes at a time, might take us a while. And then, like I said, you'd have to come back. We'd have to redo it again if you need it done a second time and you want to actually part ways with the items.
Okay, so I have great Aunt Edna's collection of plates and jewelry, and I've run the magnet over it. Okay, and I got the coins, I got everything. Now, how do I know I'm taking it to a reputable buyer?
Yes, well, you have to obviously do your research. So if I was in the customer's shoes, I would call around, first of all, get the feel for the place, read up on all the reviews, and actually get some quotes first before kind of making a decision who to go with, because you want to make sure that you're going to a place that is on par with others, not just simply like you pick the first place and God knows what they're going to give you, whether they're, honest with you. Most dealers are, but you never know. So just do your research, go and see multiple people and take your time with it.
Do your research. Okay. Now, what about people who are afraid that they're going to get ripped off? Like the buyer is going to offer them, 10 cents on the dollar of what it's actually worth.
I mean, here's the thing, like we offer wholesale value. So obviously there's going to be more times than not, the person most likely will be expecting more than, what we could actually, like what they typically expect. We would offer a fraction of that because obviously we are a business. We need to make money. That's one thing. That's just the honest truth. But at the same time, we want to not offend anybody. And so that's why I say shop around, make sure that you're on par with other people. When you decide on a place, obviously go with the one that can give you the best value for your money, but also go to a place that's knowledgeable with things all together. Like we deal with not just bullion, we also deal with banknotes, coins, numismatics. And there's not that many experts out there when it comes to these things. Right. So, yeah.
So when can you explain to me a little further when you talk about wholesale pricing? Mm-hmm. What is that?
So you have your market value, which is the trading spot price, as we call it, for gold and silver. The wholesale value that we offer is usually a fraction of that. So if you have a 1 ounce of silver and it's worth X, we would give you, a slight fraction of that. Because again, we have to then go ahead and resell it. And that takes time. The market goes up, the market goes down. So it's a speculation on both ends, and people need to understand that. So that's what we go off of, the trading price, and the wholesale price is basically what we would give you for it.
Okay, there's a sentiment out there, Maria, you probably have heard this, but that selling gold is risky or unsafe somehow. Is that true?
Well, that goes back to exactly what I just mentioned, the market value, which fluctuates. It goes up and it goes down. It's just like any other stock that you would buy. So just like any other investment, there's always a risk involved. It's a speculation. So you have to understand that. If you buy into something, you'll have to sell it in the end. And what that price will be at the end, that depends on the market, the economy, and different things obviously affect that. It could go up, could go down. But ultimately, gold and silver over time, if you look at the trend, it has been a lot more stable than most, random stocks out there. And that's why it's a safer alternative. It's like a hedge for your funds. It's not just a quick flip, so to speak.
So it's good to hold it long term. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, I would. I wouldn't sell it the next day.
It sounds to me like selling gold is pretty simple if you understand the process and you work with a trusted buyer.
That's right. It's stressful at first, but once you understand, it's pretty easy.
okay, off the top of this conversation, you talked about people bringing in like gold teeth.
Yes.
Okay. So like, I'm just so fascinated by this. Are there any other interesting items that you said come out of the bag?
Yeah, I mean, well, let's see. Rocks. We've had a lot of people bring us rocks thinking that they're precious in some way, shape, or form.
Like some quartz or something?
Like pyrite, your fool's gold.
Oh, yes.
It's pretty common, Like we see people, think all sorts of things there. Number one thing that people bring us thinking that it's rare is actually the Canadian penny. So many people think
Meanwhile, there's probably a million in each attic in this country.
Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't matter the year. Like, are people bringing in like 1984 pennies?
Yes.
And you say, oh, that's worth 1 penny.
That's right. However, I mean, of course, within each coin, there are ones that are a little bit more rare than others for certain reasons. Like in the pennies, 1922 to 1925 had lower mintages. And if they're in better condition, yes, they might go for a little bit more. But do you have those?
Right.
That's the question.
Okay, because Great Aunt Edna passed away and somebody's now dealing with the stuff that Great Aunt Edna has collected for decades and decades and decades. So you better safe than sorry. You're thinking like, oh, I'll have all of this evaluated or appraised. And if it is what it is, because it's got to be dealt with, and you don't want to like say, oh, I'm not going to bring that penny and find out it's some super rare, 1922 penny that is in demand.
Yeah, you never know. Here's the thing, you never know, and we always encourage everybody to bring everything that they think might have value, because ultimately you might have a 1948 silver dollar in your bag and you just don't know it. So, bring it all.
I wish I could be so lucky to have.
Same. Doesn't happen to me.
One of those. Okay, so and fool's gold, I can see a lot of people bringing in the fool's gold, and you talked about the gold teeth. Now, the gold teeth, is there any value in the gold teeth?
Yeah, there's gold in them,
gold,
so
right?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, preferably don't bring me the teeth.
Right.
Just bring the crown.
Right.
But,
But
I mean, if you do bring me the tooth, I probably will pay you a little bit less.
What you can do? You stick that under your pillow, and a tooth fairy will come. So you will be rewarded for the real teeth as well.
I guess I'm the tooth fairy.
That's what. Listen, this is somebody's got to do that tough job, right? And I feel like that's another pro tip here. So just one more for the road here, because I've loved this chat. Like, I find this fascinating. But so the gold teeth, which has some value, possibly the gold teeth anyway, if it's gold. And fool's gold, a lot of fool's gold fooling people. That's how it got its name. Okay,
That's right.
They don't call it fool's gold for nothing. Is there another item that will come out of the bag where you'll be like discreetly rolling your eyes like, oh, here we go again. I have to explain to this poor person that, that's not as valuable as their great Aunt Edna led them to believe for 30 years?
Many banknotes. Many old banknotes people think will be of value, but then they pull out and it's folded into the 50 million folds, and they're like, look, and I'm like, that's from 1987. Because
what happened in Canada, of course, is we introduced the loonie.
Yeah.
And then they discontinued the $1, and I think everyone in the country took a $1 bill and put it in
1973
a box or something.
Yeah.
And said one day, this is like, and then you find out it's worth $1.
Sadly. Or maybe $1.25 if it's nice and crisp.
Or I would say this, any $1 bill that looks different than the one you grew up with. And because you just, in your mind's eye, that is a valuable $1 bill, but it might be from the 50s or something.
Yes.
And it's probably not particularly scarce or rare.
It may be. Like if it's a devil's face.
Well, that's your job,
whatnot.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you just tell me about the devil's face before we say goodbye?
Sure. Devil's face banknotes were created back in 1954. And the portrait of the queen had in her hair, the way that they had the portrait done kind of appear like it has a devil in the hair. So obviously once they noticed that, they had to, cut that out of production.
Ixnay on the hombre. Don't do that to our queen.
Yes. So that's why those ones have a lower mintage.
No, I had no idea. And I'm going to be going through my banknotes. I have a box in my closet.
Bring them in.
I'm looking for the devil in there.
That's right.
Okay.
Might be worth more.
Might be worth more. Well, thank you for joining us and sharing your insights today, Maria. I really, really enjoyed this.
Thank you. I had so much fun.
And to learn more about Canadian PMX, visit CanadianPMX.com. You can also follow Canadian PMX on social media for market updates, announcements, and future episode releases. I'm Toronto Mike, and I'll see you in the next episode of the PMX Conversations. Thank you for listening.